Hello everybody, my name is Pixel and welcome to the Sapphire Tech YouTube channel. Just the other day I received a package in the mail and that package contained the brand new SAPPHIRE PULSE RX 5700 GPU. Once it arrived I stuck it into my system and I booted up a handful of mainly single player games, all of which had been released earlier in the year, which means prior to August of 2019 if you are watching this far off into the future. Now I say mainly single player games because a couple of the games are primarily co-op focused, however I'm sure you get the idea. In this video I am basically going to be showing you a couple of minutes of gameplay from each of the games that I played with a nice little performance overlay thing running so you can see how the SAPPHIRE PULSE RX 5700 handles the task. All the games in this video were played at 1440p on or at least close to the maximum settings. Now before I get started I want to let you all know that I am going to be leaving timestamps to the games in the description below this video, and I'm not going to be talking throughout the entire video, but I will be giving a quick introduction to each game and quickly explain what settings we are using and why. As you are most likely about to see for yourselves, this card really surprised me, so be sure to stick around till the end of the video so you can hear my conclusions. Oh, and one quick thing that I do want to mention before we get started is that you may indeed notice some screen tearing during this video, and that is due to recording the footage on a capture card with an uncapped frame rate. If you was running using VSync, AMD Enhanced Sync, or even better FreeSync, then the screen tearing would no longer be a problem. But with all that said, let's kick things off with one of the first games that I got my hands on in 2019, and that game is the Resident Evil 2 Remake. Here, I totally maxed out the graphics, ignoring the warnings that pop up in the settings menu when you exceed the predicted requirements. I then started a new game and played somewhere around 45 minutes. The reason why I started a new game is because very early on there are a couple of short scenes that basically tax the system more than any other area that I came across in the rest of the game. These are areas which are packed full of volumetric fog and contain bright lights. We do still see drops here as expected, however for the rest of the game we had a 60 FPS minimum across the board really. And quite often we were hovering around the early hundreds, and by lowering just a few of these settings it should be very possible to hold an average well above 120 FPS. So overall this is a great first showing.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm alright. How about you?
I can't stay here. It's not safe.
Oh, shit. Go on ahead. I'll meet you at the station. Can't stop. Gotta keep moving.
Next up we have A Plague Tale Innocence, which is a game that dropped a few months back and one that I really wish got a little bit more attention. It's a beautiful looking game about a young girl that's been tasked with protecting her little brother Hugo. I actually have a full impressions / review video up on this channel already, so you really should check that out if this kind of gameplay is something that you like the look of. Anyway, I played through the game on the high preset. I mean, there is an ultra preset, and while I was holding an average of over 60 FPS on ultra, I just believe that the consistency of high felt better overall. On my run through a few of the missions, the frame rate was mostly hovering between the 70 and 90 frames per second mark, which is pretty decent.
Who are you?
Magister Laurentius.
Stop right there. He's contagious.
Hugo. Here.
The Inquisition came. We lost everything. There was nothing I could do.
Oh, of course. They came for him.
need to push.
Let me help. But mind you don't get... We're making too much noise. They're going to spot us.
What's going on over there? I'll have another kids.
Do you dare to enter the Trials Gate?
Amicia de Rune fears nothing.
This apple tree was planted when you were born. It will prove your worth.
Sir Knight, what are the terms of the test?
The sacred apples of the sacred apple tree have been corrupted by a great evil. If you destroy 6...
Rage 2 is the game that I managed to play next, and I did so on the game's Ultra Settings preset, which I do believe is pretty much maxed out. With this one, I also had the Radeon anti-lag feature enabled because while I was above 60 FPS basically all of the time, it is a pretty fast-paced game, and them quicker reaction times just really make the game feel so much better overall, so I would recommend enabling that feature if you was to play Rage 2 on this card. And at 1440p, it looked beautiful and it performed really well. The Division 2 is one of those games that, while certainly multiplayer focused, still has a lot of people like myself, that play it solo. Now, this is one of the games on this list that you are going to want to lower a few of the settings in order to strike that nice balance between the visuals and the performance. I ran the game using DirectX 12 with optimized settings that I first saw over on a Digital Foundry video. There is honestly only a very small difference in the visuals between these settings and the ultra quality presets, but we see a decent jump of around 30 to 40% more frames, making this one of them games that you would be really doing yourself a disservice by not lowering a few things. Once again, we have a video on the channel where I take a look at the Division 2 running on the SAPPHIRE Pulse RX Vega 56, but at 1080p, so be sure to give that a look when you get a moment. Devil May Cry 5, on the other hand, is one of those games that just runs amazingly well across a large section of hardware. It runs on the same engine as Resident Evil 2, and it looks amazing considering the frame rates that it manages to push out. In a previous video on Devil May Cry 5, I found myself very conflicted between 1080p and 1440p purely due to the difference in frame rate between the gameplay and the cutscenes that are all rendered in real time. Thankfully, the SAPPHIRE PULSE RX 5700 had zero issues keeping the cutscenes well above the 60 FPS mark, so no problems here. Once again, just like Resident Evil 2, I played this game totally maxed out.
Yeah, he's a real pro at smacking demons around. That's why I built him that well-functioning arm. To kick demon ass.
Hey, Psycho! What's the merchandise?
Hey, stop bitching and take cover. Enjoy the taste of this. Fall to hell. Death. Pin to the wall. At your pleasure. Pin him to the wall. Right. Gouge him. Pin him to the wall.
I did manage to cover Far Cry 5 on the channel previously, however I never actually got around to taking a look at the spin-off slash sequel that released earlier this year, being Far Cry New Dawn. This is once again one of those games where I totally maxed everything out at 1440p and just let the card do its thing. Visually, the game looks stunning in motion, and there is no way on this earth that this video is going to be able to do that justice. In the areas that I played, I saw an average of around 80 to 100 FPS, but it is worth noting that this is one of those games where the frame rate is highly variable, so the average could be very different from one place to the next. However, from what I've seen so far, I am confident that we are looking at an easy 60 FPS minimum in all but the most extreme circumstances.
Food, clothes, guns, anything you need. Even health insurance. But if you make problems, well, Pops taught us what to do with problem makers.
Problem makers need to be solved.
Old man solved a shit ton of problems in his day.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So, rabbits. Are you all problem solvers or problem makers?
I'm switching spots.
I need an assist over here. The plan's in my secret stash, in a little bunker just over the hill there. I promise, I'll never gamble again.
The next game that I managed to check out was World War Z. I ran this game using the Ultra preset on the Vulkan API, and wow did it feel nice. As amazed as I am with how the card has performed on all the games in this video, this is once again a reminder of how 120 FPS is rapidly becoming the new 60 FPS. The game just feels so responsive, and to be honest, it's not a bad looker either. World War Z was holding an easy 120 frames per second, so yeah, there's not really much more to say here.
Shit!
Roaches are climbing! Hit them!
Clean belt. The elevator shaft should be safe to get down.
Loading ammo! Who wants more?
Get him! Coming in!
You guys okay? I'm hearing a lot of action from your way.
We're taking care of it.
Loading ammo!
Body.
Found a box. Bringing it back to the train. Creeper neutralized.
Anybody else?
Last and quite possibly least, at least depending on who you are asking, we have Wolfenstein Youngblood. Once again, this is a Vulcan title, and visually the game looks very nice while performing very well. This time around I played totally maxed out on a preset that I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce, but it's up there in the chart thing so you can see it for yourself. We got solid frame rates, smooth gameplay and low input lag, and that all makes for a great feeling experience, so yeah, it's great. Oh, and I have got a video for this on the channel as well. I really do think you should check it out because I actually don't think that this game is quite as bad as a lot of people are letting on at the moment. So, yeah, controversial opinion I know, but check it out.
I'm on this one! What's the whole...
Back up on the horse, baby. Let's go.
Taking out this one! Keep it up, sis.
You got it.
Now, before I shoot off, I want to quickly give you guys my initial first impressions of the SAPPHIRE PULSE RX 5700. Basically, I'm conflicted and in a good way. Before the card even arrived, I had it in my head that I was mainly going to be focusing on 1080p max settings and maybe just a touch of 1440p here and there. I had seen the benchmarks for the RX 5700 already, and I knew where it placed in terms of the XT model and the Nvidia offerings, and I just thought that 1080p with high refresh rates is where the card was really going to shine. Now, I'm still sure that's true, however, I'm still yet to test the card at 1080p. I just wasn't expecting the card to deliver such a solid 1440p experience, and to be clear, it really does. The peak frame rates honestly came as no surprise, but what did come to a surprise to me was just how stable the card performed overall. There is no doubt in my mind that the RX 5700, and obviously the SAPPHIRE Pulse version in particular, is the real deal when it comes to opening up 1440p in terms of price to performance. We will have to wait and see till I've done some tests to see just how much the 1080p performance knocks it out of the park, but yeah, colour me impressed. I think that this is going to be a very special card that's going to keep people very happy for a very long time. That's a lot of berries. But anyway, with all that said, thank you so much for watching. If you are new around here, please do consider slapping that subscribe button and dinging that bell so you get notified of all of our future uploads. If you like this video, then please do like this video, and if not, feel free to dislike it, and all we ask is that you please let us know in the comment section below why you've disliked it so we can try and improve in future. Also, in the comment section you can leave any questions, suggestions or general feedback you may have. Once again, I have been Pixel, and from myself and everybody here at the Sapphire Tech YouTube channel, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, we will catch you later. Bye. Instagram. Follow us on Instagram at SapphireTech_official. We're always posting new stuff there. You should definitely go and check it out. Anyway, see you later. Bye bye.